everybody, and welcome back to From BA to Broadway. I am indeed your host once again, Mr. Brennan Stefanik. And I have here with me one of my favorite humans on this planet. It is Miss Katy Geraghty.
I paid him to say that.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I really needed that. I really did. So I'll do whatever she asks me to say.
There you go.
Hey, Katy, what's going on?
Hi, babe.
Hey, who are you and what do you do?
That's the age-old question.
Isn't it?
Not?
Yeah.
I'm Katy Geraghty, and I am an actor.
Yeah,
That's
you are.
what I do.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I've heard of it.
How do we know each other?
We met at college.
We did meet at college. Wow.
We both went to UMass Amherst, and we met doing The Legally Blonde.
Indeed, we did.
That is when we met.
Katy, do you have a degree in theater?
I have a BA in theater from UMass Amherst, which is kind of, just like big umbrella
100%.
program. Like taught us a lot, as you know, you went there. A lot about just like the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Like you take, I feel like 1 or 2 classes in everything as opposed to all of the classes in 1 or 2 things.
Correct.
That's kind of how like I always say the difference is.
For sure.
Yeah.
You had other degrees, right? You had other
Technically,
majors?
I have no other degrees
Gotcha.
because that's a super fun part of college, kids, is that like you have to pay so much extra money for that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to do that because that seems stupid when my other degrees were things that I would have to like go back to school for anyway.
Yes.
So I decided ultimately I didn't feel like tossing them another 8,000 just to get something on a piece of paper. But I also studied psychology and education.
Okay, that's what I thought. I think I mentioned that in one of the other episodes, and I wasn't 100% sure, so I didn't say your name because I was just going to pretend it was a different
pretend
friend.
anonymous human being.
Literally. I was just
It's
going to
me.
pretend if it wasn't right.
And it was me.
Amazing.
And
wow.
that was right.
That's also a whole lot of work that you put yourself through. How did you do that? I
I-
could barely do one thing at a
Listen.
time, never mind 1 1/4 of a thing.
College was such a weird time for me where like I was really trying to find myself for like a long time. Like
Yeah.
you met me when I had achieved that, I think.
Heard.
And I was just like really rounding out because I was a senior when Brennan was a freshman, for those listening. But like the first kind of 2.5 years was like, do I want to leave? Do I want to re-audition for a BFA program? Because I auditioned for 12 musical theater schools and I didn't get in anywhere. And like
You didn't get in anywhere
literally zero.
for a BFA program. Damn.
Zero. I was waitlisted at Elon.
Okay.
But it was for like a program that like would eventually lead to like likely being in the theater program.
Yes.
And like now, like 30-year-old Katy would have done that program because it sounds dope. But like then it was not my bag.
For sure.
Yeah. So, didn't get into any of them and went to UMass really with the like intention of transferring because I knew that I was ready for college. I didn't want to take a gap year.
Yeah.
So because of that, I actually did like a ton of gen eds immediately. And at UMass, you can also test out of a lot of those.
That is true.
So like I actually just got really lucky where like the classes that I took in high school and then the couple of like, or the whole, year of gen eds my freshman year were the ones that you could also test out of.
Gotcha.
So then by the time all of that rounded up and I realized that I like kept wanting to study psych, I had already done a lot of them. So I just like kind of got lucky, but I did have like course overload every semester. And like you knew me in college. I was running around like a maniac.
Yeah, you were, for sure.
I would not do it now. No
I would assume,
way.
Yeah, I would assume
No
you consider
way.
yourself an academic. I feel
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yes. And like I like school. I've always liked school. I've always been like a really good student and like that's always mattered a lot to me. But like I don't know, man. College was a weird time where I kind of like refound myself.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to realize that my, smarts are a big part of me.
For sure. I would definitely...
I've forgotten about that.
I would definitely identify, like, wisdom with you, for sure.
But that's my God, I need to stop moving my hands.
This is an audio medium, so, folks, she is hitting everything in her
smacking
surroundings.
Everything. Oh, my God, I'm so
Talking
sorry.
with her hands.
Talking with my hands for a very Irish person.
Literally.
I'm very Italian with that. But, yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like that was, I think that theater sometimes just brings us away from how smart you really have to be to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because the reality of it all is that like a lot of people want to take advantage of you in this industry and it's easier if you're not smart.
That is very true. That is very true.
So it really only like benefits them
Yeah.
if you forget that that's something you'd like to be.
That's 100% right. And
Well, dropping tea
no, I mean,
immediately.
you're right. But I don't know.
I know.
I feel like I'm not going to say me. I was going to say we, but you in particular, you're one of the most strong-willed people I know. So I feel like even out of college, like...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
total pushover over here.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like even immediately when I knew you, that didn't seem like something you would ever like really struggle with.
Mm-mm. And really the times that I like find that I have ventured the furthest away from myself is when like people are telling me that, or I realize that I'm really being like taken advantage of and saying yes to things I don't agree with and saying sorry for things I'm not sorry about.
For sure.
And like those are moments where when I notice them, it's like a brick wall and I'm like, nope, we are unsafe and we need to leave here.
Yeah.
So then I get out of town
and
right
like,
quick.
Yeah, it's hard to develop that like safety sense and stuff. So like I mean, especially folks like just exiting college and stuff, like
Oh yeah.
just you don't have to say yes to everything. You don't
really don't.
You don't have
and
to.
And you shouldn't, in fact.
No, you should not.
You should not.
Use your common sense.
Yes.
You know, it is just like everything else in the world where if it feels wrong, it's probably wrong.
Yeah.
So
this is like, if anybody, not that this is even what this episode is about.
No, literally.
But like
let's
everyone
drop
hear
that
me when I
wisdom.
say this, that like an unsafe space is not going to get safer.
No.
It's not.
No.
It might feel like it's going in and out of that time. It might feel more comfortable, but it doesn't gain safety.
And
So
you
please
might learn things in the long run. However, is it worth it? Probably not.
No.
You don't want to learn
Are
from the
musicals
trauma.
worth trauma? Truly, they are not. Like, let's think
Singing
about
and
this.
dancing should be fun.
It should be fun. We're doing a fun
Jeez.
thing.
Oh my god. We play pretend for a living.
We do.
It's not, the stakes are not as high
It ain't
as...
that big a
No.
thing.
No.
It ain't that big a thing.
Anywho, we're here today to discuss resumes.
Yes.
I feel like there's never any guidelines prior to school and whatnot as to what the heck this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, I even feel like when I was first trying to figure out what an acting resume is, like looking online was not that helpful. So you actually saw probably my first ever real resume, and it was written down on a piece of paper, but do you remember anything that was on there?
Was this during your guild audition?
This was from, it would have been Legally Blonde.
That's hilarious. Well, we had a pretty easy piece of paper that could like fill it out in a good way. Like it was an excellent format.
Yes.
So whoever actually made that, like UMass Theater Guild in 2000 and whatever it was, good on you because it was very good.
Yes.
It was, like how old are you and what was your major because that mattered in school and like how, what year you were in. I think they might have like alluded kind of in like voice part somewhere in there, and then like past Theater Guild performances and then just past performances, and then like do you have any dance training was on there? I remember that one, and that wasn't always on there. There was for musicals, but like it depended on what the show was. I don't remember the other stuff. Do you?
Not really, no. But I think I had some very interesting credits on there that first time I handed that page in.
Oh, God.
And it included such things as me, the whitest person ever, in Aladdin Junior, which was my junior year of high school.
Wonderful.
Yes. Let's see.
We've all done some culturally questionable junior theater.
For sure.
For
we really
sure.
did. And we'll talk about whether or not we should have that on our resume later on.
Spoiler alert, the answer is no.
Wow. Stop the
You really
presses.
shouldn't.
And then I also had things like Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
You just said those titles,
Correct.
assuming that we're going to think that you're an extra in the movie.
No, I was in plays of those.
I'm just telling you that, like, seeing that on paper
For
is
sure.
like, I'd be like, oh, T.
No, literally. Wow, this kid is
This
so
kid's
cool.
famous and apparently British.
But
like,
he's claiming he was Harry Potter, and I don't think that was true. I
Oh
think
my
he's
God.
lying.
I don't remember that.
And that is for the best, I think.
That's hilarious. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
cast you, honestly. I'm like, if I remembered that and that's stuck in my brain, I either would have asked and embarrassed you or
Yeah.
not cast you.
Oh, I would have been humiliated.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What
No,
a
that
time.
came later. Once you realize that I was actually a safe space, then I
Yes.
can make fun of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's our
I'm
relationship.
perfectly polite to people I don't like.
Yeah, which is crazy to me.
Because you can't be mean to people you don't like. That's just bullying. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not a
that's
bully.
fair.
I'm just a sarcastic ass sometimes.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well,
But only if I like you.
honestly, good for you and your social skills.
Thank you so much.
Wow. This might be the most I've ever complimented you ever.
I know. I don't feel like I'm like Hy-Vee. I
No.
don't like it. It's making me feel uncomfortable. I feel like something's happening. You're also like looking me in the face while you're doing it.
Here,
which is...
I'll just look at the window the whole time.
Could ya? That'd be great.
No. Okay, so let's break it down for these folks. What is an acting resume?
It's just kind of a piece of paper to let the people behind the table know who you are and what you've done and what skills might be applicable to what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And every single actor out there needs one.
Yes.
They should absolutely have one.
100%.
And also, like, if you're in college too, it's very handy to have. So then if you have those little forms that you have to fill out, you don't. You just write "see resume."
I have done that before.
And I felt like such a badass doing that in college, which is like so pretentious. So pretentious of me. But I stand by it.
Ew.
Yeah,
okay.
no, absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
So it's essentially like a resume for any other profession. Like, it's all the same kind of information for the most part.
Yeah.
So, like, top to bottom, you're starting at the top. What do you got? You got your name.
You got your name.
Of
Your
course.
name is at the top. Sometimes people will put like a tiny little like thumbnail of their headshot. It kind of just matters for like format. Like, that's just like a, do you like it? Do you not? And of course, like, when you are making your own resume, it has a lot to do with like how it looks to you.
Yes.
And then once you start getting into the world of like having representation, usually your representation will have a specific way that they like their clients, resumes to look.
Yeah.
So like that format will come in a different way. But like if it's just you, your name is up at the top, usually your union status.
Yep.
And
Contact
then
information.
Contact information is like funky. I would say like don't put your phone number on there.
Yeah.
Because it feels weird. I'm like trying to like think back to like when it wasn't just like my agency's logo on the top of my resume. So like email is the best.
For sure.
Never put your address.
Oh,
ever,
God,
ever,
no,
ever,
no,
ever.
no,
I've
no,
seen
no.
it before though. Like that's
I have
crazy
indeed.
town.
Yeah.
Don't do that. New York is scary. All cities are scary. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
And like phone number is weird to me too, because especially if they need it, they'll ask for it.
Yeah. And
But
they
like,
can email you.
yes,
and ask
everyone
for
can
it.
reach you by email. And usually when you sign into rooms, like you have to write down your number anyway.
Yes.
So like they'll get it. You don't need to put it on your resume
Exactly right.
because you have no idea where that piece of paper is going to end up. So if you don't want your number in the ether, don't put it out there.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Ever.
Then the rest of it on the top, like
Physical descriptors, like
yes,
hair color.
eye color, height is a thing. And then sometimes people will put voice type.
Yes.
Usually I feel like that's one of those things like up at the top that remind everybody that like they want, the headshot and resume stapled together and they do pull them apart.
Yes.
So like the top of your page is to remind them kind of like what you looked and sounded like when they're not looking at your picture.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I always, I don't know about you, but I always put my vocal range type
I
up
don't
there.
think I've ever put my vocal range on the top of my page.
I only do it because I have like a little bit of an awkward vocal range.
That's what I'm saying, because like mine's very clear with what's on my resume.
Exactly.
So like it's never, because that's also the thing where it's like once you get, because like right now my resume stresses me out, but like it is what my agency likes. It's just my name and their logo. There's no contact information. They're like, they know how to reach us, which is fierce.
Whoa.
But I was like, oh, I don't know what to do.
That's
like it just,
crazy.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm like, that is some like
Bold,
big
but
D energy.
warranted, yeah.
Makes sense.
Jeez.
They're a huge agency. They
That is
deserve
true.
it. But like, that was weird to do that.
Yeah.
Because my old agency used to be like my name and then like their logo, and then we had a footnote.
Yes, I
that
think
was
I
like
have
their
a footer on
contact
mine.
information.
That's the same thing.
Yeah. And that's fairly normal too.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But that's what's on the top.
That's exactly what's on the top. You gotta identify yourself and tell them what you look like. Next, we're going down. I think we go immediately into credits, right?
Yeah.
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 I feel like right now in my career, I have it broken down into different types of theater.
Yes.
Just because like I still don't have a whole lot of regional professional credits. So I essentially have regional theater, and then everything else is educational theater on there for me. There's like 2 community theaters in there, but I just threw them in there just for the sake of ease of reading.
Yeah.
For sure. So
And honestly, I feel like that's probably the way to go with that. And even then, I feel like the only time that you should ever be like the exception to a rule on a resume is when you know it's really applicable.
Exactly.
I know. I'm like, I don't even know what mine are. I'm going to bring up my own resume now.
Check it out. Also, folks, if you are curious about like formatting, like just visually and everything, my resume is posted on my website, I believe. It is brennanstefanik.com, so feel free to check that out. It is a little different because I do have an agency on there, so it's going to have like their contact info and their formatting on there, but like the rest of the stuff is pretty much the same and applicable all around. So check that out for sure if you are curious. And if you want to see what I've done.
Subtle brag.
Literally.
Love it.
So yeah, I have the regional, and then I have the educational theater. And then like, if you're coming straight out of high school, I mean, you can just put theater, you know?
I would just like make sure that, you know, like you are differentiating, like, because, you know, when we hand someone in the professional world a resume and it has like a regional theater on it that we all know, you know, the name of.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay to shorten it for like subtext.
For sure.
But if you're doing, you know, a resume where it is, you know, your hometown productions, maybe some community theaters, like, I would do your best to try to make sure that, like, this is the high school, this is the name of community theater, like, differentiate that that's what those are, just so they have that information.
For sure. And then, like, when you're listing your credits, folks, it's usually 3 columns. Column 1, you got the name of the show. Column 2, you got the role. And then column 3, you got the organization/theater that you did it with, and the director or choreographer if they are noteworthy enough to be recognized by name.
That is true.
So, for example, I have Legally Blonde, Aaron Schultz Ensemble, and then what do I have? I have UMass. I might just say UMass Amherst or UMass Theater Guild.
Yeah.
And then director Katy Geraghty.
Do you literally have my name on your resume?
I sure do. Are you joking?
Wow, I feel so powerful right now.
Wow.
That's amazing.
As if you don't always feel powerful.
No, truly, I just feel like I leveled up like a Pokemon.
No, you really did.
Wow. I've never been in that column.
Also, I think it's fun, too, because it was a college show, too. And it's like, wow, I knew Katy in college, and that's a flex for me. I can't
wait for the day that somebody is like, this Katy Geraghty? Like,
yeah. No,
has somebody done that to you before?
No.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Oh, I mean,
you must call me
everyone
No,
always...
oh my God, Brennan, I hate you. Please call me the second that happens in our life, if it does, because I need to know.
I will.
And I need to know what lies you then spread about me.
I don't know. I feel like everything I would say would be true. Silence.
Like the power play that's going on right now.
Woof. So yeah, that's the way you list your credits.
Right. My like columns are the same as far as like show, role, and then I have, you know, where it is and who directed it. And my, you know, categories is just like a bolded word above, you know, the credits. And mine are Broadway, national tour, international, regional, television, training, special skills.
Gotcha.
Is where I'm at.
Amazing.
It's a sexy piece of paper.
Let me see.
Yeah, look at this. We're just tossing around my phone right now. My résumé.
That is a sexy piece of
paper. Isn't it a sexy piece of paper?
It's very aesthetically
It is.
Nice.
Here's the thing. I don't, but I don't think anybody likes a cluttered resume.
No.
You don't need to add every little thing you've ever done on it because, like, I would rather see a piece of paper that only has the 3 things that I actually care about than having to, like, you know, scour through the great American novel to find the 3 things that I care about.
For sure.
And I guarantee you casting feels the same way.
Yeah.
They're seeing so many people. It's like imagining your resume and, like, you know, the Google, like, trigger words when you're, like, searching something, where if you add too many, then it's getting convoluted and there's too many things that Google's going to bring up. But, like, hit your, like, search words is, like, what we want, and that is a resume thing, too.
And, like, especially when you're starting out, too, like, I think the most important thing is to just find the commonalities in terms of, like, your type and your brand, and just include that so they can look at all this, put the pieces together and be like, yes, this is who this person is. This is where they fit into this world.
Right.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
If you got that type, if you got that lightning in a bottle, just use it and get your foot in the door.
Yes.
You know?
And always pay attention to what people are asking you. Because, like, if I get asked all the time how tall I am because that's not on my resume, which is hilarious. But then I just,
they're just
like,
looking at you and they're like,
how
tall
are you?
Or how short are
and
you,
then,
I think is...
Right.
Yeah.
They ask tall because they're nice people, Brennan. But that's, whatever. Or they're pretending to be nice people at the very least.
Very true.
Yeah. But then I just kind of chuckle and I'm like, not very. And then it's like an adorable little moment. You know what I mean? But then I obviously tell them,
quirky.
oh, she's just like not like the other girls.
No.
Yeah. Ew. Anyway, but if I was like formatting my own resume, if I noticed that I kept getting asked that question, I would put that on that piece of paper.
For sure.
In the same way where, originally I only had one Hairspray production on it, where I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
And to me, it was kind of silly because I was like, why would I put the same role twice? But then a lot of people had asked, they're like, didn't you also do it here?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, yeah, yes, I did. And you do know that director, and you always like cite this person. So, yes, that should also be there.
Heard.
So just pay attention to the conversations, because that will be helpful about like what people want to know on that piece of paper.
Do you have it listed like separate times completely, or do you just have all the theaters that you did it in that theatrical?
No, I have it listed completely separately, but I also, because I kind of like, where you list them should sort of be chronological, but it should also be most important.
Exactly.
So if your biggest role ever was 3 years ago, that should still be on the top.
For sure.
So like I would say level of importance comes first, and then it should be in chronological order.
Yes.
So like one of the Hairsprays is up higher, and then the other one is down lower because of just when it happened.
Heard.
So I tried to like maintain that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just shows how ageless you are.
You know?
Perpetually
I have
young.
been, but we'll see. She's 30.
She is 30 now.
There was a party.
Ooh,
It was fun. We
Oh,
had
what a
good time.
blast. What
That
a
was
blast.
such a blast.
Yeah.
You attended. You were there.
I was there, everyone. I was invited. It was awesome. That kind of made it sound like I wasn't, but I genuinely was there. There's a
Yeah, sorry, that was
pictures.
actually not sarcasm.
There's pictures. There's proof, y'all.
Yeah,
I swear.
Yeah, it's on his Instagram.
Jeez,
he
it
is really good with Photoshop, but it is on his Instagram.
Yeah. I got my head on that person's body so well. You can't even tell.
So well.
Anywho.
Yep. Resumes.
Yeah, so you got all your theater stuff. And then if you got TV and film stuff, rad. I think general rule of thumb is for TV and film, extra work doesn't necessarily go under the TV and film category. I think, if anything, it would have to be featured background and up, if anything.
Yeah.
But it's usually for like co-stars and supporting things like that.
Right.
So I mean, and also you can put your background work in special skills, just that you have done background work.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
honestly, it's like you can kind of keep some things on your resume really just for like a period of time.
Yes.
Like right now I'm auditioning for a lot of TV and film, and my, experience in that is very minimal.
Yep.
But I have been on camera. So because we're going to manifest that, when I book my first like real big TV job, those other 2 credits will likely go away.
Of course.
But right now I just want them to make sure that like, yes, I do know what it's like to be in front of a camera as well. So
Doesn't it just feel so good when you get to the point where you take those things off? It feels like it's like spring cleaning.
Oh, I love that. Like, that's how you phrase that. Like, that's an expert opinion, first of all, and I'll never say something that nice to you ever again.
Yeah. Oh,
But like,
oh my God.
But I do feel like it's nice, but also it's like sad.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, like growing out of something. Like
That's
your
true.
favorite pair of jeans that you're just like, your legs are too long for.
You really just yucked that yum immediately.
This is 2024. We do not yuck anyone's yum.
Yeah, so why'd you do it?
I did not, Brennan.
Okay, whatever. Anywho, yes, that is true. It's like it's not as relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to you, but to the world, which is always sad.
Yeah. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like, because resumes are just your greatest hits.
That's
like,
exactly
they are
right.
really not every little thing that you've ever done. Because we did mention a little while ago that I just turned 30.
Yes.
And like in that time, I was thinking about my last decade. And I actually did the work and like found every single thing. Not concerts, because that would have been insane. But
True.
every single thing that I did in those 10 years. At least on stage. And it was just like a wild thing to look at. And there are some that I can't even figure out the dates of, because there's just like nobody took any record of it. And then there are some where I have pictures of them, and there's some where I don't. And it was just like a really strange look into that, into my discography, as my little sister calls it, which I love, like that phrase.
That's what I call Katy Geraghty.
Oh my
30.
God, now 30. It's hilarious. Oh, that was good, Brennan.
And you can literally see the cover too. You can see the album art in your head.
Oh yeah. Well, if you can't, then you're too damn young.
Oh my God. And you know what? There's people probably listening to this who have no clue what that is.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, welcome, kids. Please, thank you for educating yourself, but you're making me feel real old.
They gotta still make those, right?
Oh, they must. They're on now 80,000.
Literally.
Now 742. Like, resumes.
Oh, resumes. I forgot to mention when we were doing the theater stuff, once again, if you are just starting out or if you are someone who just moved to the city, I also have a miscellaneous category under my theater. I think it's under theater. But that is just for like, I have like when I did my 54 Below debut, like that is on there. Or if you are doing any readings or whatever.
Yeah, I do feel like readings is a great thing where you can also just say like workshops and readings is a very valid,
for sure,
category to put on there. I definitely did at one point, and it was also just because I wanted people to know that I had been involved, with certain things for a long time. Because I was like, when Bliss was still getting its legs, I wanted people to know that I had been a part of it for a long time.
For sure.
Or, I did a reading of King Kong right before Broadway.
Wild.
I know, just because
Were you King Kong?
No.
Oh. I'm sorry, I never saw the show. I don't know.
I was like, Brennan,
I'm
was
not
that a
familiar
sizist joke?
with their ballads. Oh my God, you went for the size.
I did.
Listen,
always.
I know how tall that puppet
Always.
was.
That's
I'm
true.
aware.
I could never. My God. Which literally the lead, like this sweet, sweet woman was like, yeah, no, you'd literally be killed. You could not be in this show.
That's crazy.
Like, she and I had that conversation. Anyway, no, because they were going to Broadway. They wanted to do like a reading just to look at the script and some, specific moments. And I knew the music director and like a few of the ensemble tracks, couldn't or had other work or whatever it was. So he just asked me to come in and scout for him for a week. And I said, okay.
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
that's my
always,
bag.
it's always good to have that there. And also like, depending on who you do it with, it's also a way to show more connections of who you know and who people can reach out to.
Exactly. And that's kind of like what I wanted with those ones, because this is the thing I'm learning more and more about, is that like your resume is also kind of a calling card.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, I feel like people are being vetted, which I'm all for.
For sure.
Because, like, there are some people who are really talented that are absolute nightmares and, like, should not be in a professional setting anymore. There just are. And here's the tea is that, like, I have gotten that call about one person, and I was as professional as I could have been, and I didn't, like, really give my opinion. I kind of just gave, like, the lowdown of, like, what happened.
For sure.
In our show with this person. And then, the person did say, they were like, so in your opinion, and they did say that, they were like, is this person a good person to work with? And I said, in my opinion, they are not.
Heard. That's actually just so refreshing to hear that is happening nowadays.
Yes. And, like, it needs to happen more.
Yeah.
But also be aware that means that, like, on your resume, that you're giving that person can be a reference.
That is true.
So if you've burned a bridge real big and real bad,
yes,
that might not be the one to have on your resume.
For sure.
Because they're going to call.
Yeah.
And they're going to ask.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Do I have any burned bridges on my resume?
I know, probably. You're awful to work with.
I might have one, if I'm being honest.
It was Brennan, spoiler alert, that I hate.
Wow. Oh my God, it's you.
It's me.
They've been calling you.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've just been like spewing lies about
Gotta take that off.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, well.
Now no one will ask about my directorial debut.
Literally. That was your directorial debut?
No.
Oh.
I didn't realize it until you just asked me. I'm like, no, that's not even true.
Oh, okay.
Well. Directed in college 2 years before that. Oh my God. And I love that production. Wow, I'm an ass.
Wow. What was
Wild Party.
Wild Party. Oh.
That was fun.
I've seen that once in my life.
It's such a cool show. And like I would love to be in it. I would kill some people to be Kate.
Heard. I don't remember who that is, if I'm being honest.
She sings The Life of the Party. The Idina Menzel or Adele Dazeem track.
I'm very quickly remembering that I don't remember anything about that show.
Then you're useless to me.
Okay, folks, it's been nice. Katy will now be taking over this podcast.
Thank God.
From BA to Broadway. So, yeah, it's been nice. Once again, who gave me the right to have this platform? Literally just myself. Wow.
Oh
Modern technology is amazing. Yeah. And that I just did that. Wow. Anywho.
It's not the end.
Literally, where were we? Like miscellaneous performances.
Oh, yeah.
If it's relevant, put it there.
I think that those are super great, especially when you've worked with certain people.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. Yeah.
Also, it's just a nice way to show that you're, like, actively doing things, even if you're not necessarily getting paid to be in a show, you know? Just
I
nice.
just think it's a constantly edited thing.
For sure.
Like, your resume does not have to look the same on every single thing, and there could be one thing that you, like, never have on there that you all of a sudden realize is really relevant to what you're trying to go in for, and, like, that's a happy time to put that on and take that off. It does not have to be written in stone.
Yeah, that being said, I am one who preps so many headshot and resumes.
Oh my god.
So I'm constantly taking staples out with my fingers
Get
and
a
just
staple
rip it.
remover, you barbarian.
You know, you'd think I would have done that
I'll
by
get
now.
you one.
And every time I go through this experience, so like, I don't know, every couple of months, I'm just like, why don't I have one of those
There's
yet?
a hardware store on our corner that we share,
They have everything there.
including staple removers. Oh my god. Wow, I'll get you one.
That's really
Big
sweet.
sister to the rescue.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll spend the like $3.99 on it.
So I don't know. I always feel like I'm throwing those away. So now I've taken to keeping them for scrap paper. So I just have piles of old resumes.
I love that. Scrap paper is a wildly helpful thing.
That's
I
true.
write everything down.
But you'd also think that I would just prepare better and just not make so many.
I don't staple them all the time, but I usually have, I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, gun to my head, I have no idea where my headshots are in my room. Like, not a clue.
What do? Do you tape them or do you just paper
No,
clip them?
I staple them. I just don't put them together until I go.
Oh, understood.
So, like, I'll have a
understood.
stack and I'll have a stack, but I won't actually staple them
Heard.
until I'm, like, literally leaving, or, like, the night before when I'm putting my book together or whatever it is.
That's very responsible of you.
Yeah, well, that's 30 kids.
Oh, you live and you learn.
You live, you learn.
Let me tell you, in 3 years, I'm going to be all over
You're
that.
going to be so good.
Oh my god, I love this. So yeah, folks, don't print more than
Or buy a staple remover.
or buy a staple remover. I would say don't print more than 5 at a time.
Nah.
No,
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true, because sometimes audition season really do be like a 5 in a day type of situation.
That's true. Be
It's-
responsible.
yeah.
Look at the hustle on Sunday and determine how many you need for the week, or
Yeah.
if there's anything that would
Ballpark.
happen between then that would change.
Right. Right,
Ugh.
right.
Wow, I'm really just giving myself advice right now.
Yeah. I've definitely gone in to like more than one audition where they're like, Katie, you ran into the woods. I was like, yeah, I was. And they're like, does not say that here. I'm like, that's so interesting.
That's so
Because
wow.
truly, like with that one, I was like, I had to get through all of Broadway and all of tour
Yeah.
to even like forget that like it wasn't on there. And the
How'd
Muni.
you-
All of those things happened and I didn't update because I wasn't home.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
And like I just like ran into an audition like immediately when I got into the
Mm-hmm.
city in like early October or something crazy. And they're like, Katie. And I was like, you know what? But you know, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You're like, it's not relevant anymore.
like,
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. No more.
I've aged out.
Which is a song in that show, which was the joke that you just missed.
Oh my god. That's so embarrassing of me. Steven Sondheim, rest in peace.
Rolling
I'm
in his
so
grave
sorry.
because of you.
Literally.
Yeah.
I bet
It's
you a
okay.
lot of people are rolling
I was
in
like,
their
I
graves
definitely
because of me.
made that man roll in his grave with some of my choices, but
Yeah.
I stand by them.
You know what? You were great.
Thanks, babe. Don't. Ugh.
What?
He just made an awful face, everyone. Just so.
I don't believe it. Picture it didn't happen.
Mm.
Anywho, you go through all your credits. Those are on your resume.
Yes.
What is next? I'm just looking at our outline right now. Oh, training.
Training.
Training. If you went to school, put it there.
Yep, school is good. Especially like voice teachers are good if they are somebody that's well known in like a well known music or musical theater
For sure.
program, as well as people in the city. Because again, think about those more as references than anything else.
100%.
I don't have mine because I have not taken a voice lesson since my senior year of high school.
Nuh-uh.
Oh yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah. Or I guess like formally. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I have a really awesome voice teacher in the city, and I've been resisting like giving him so much credit on here because I'm like, I don't want anyone else to start booking because
Do I
he's
know
so.
this person?
Oh, I don't know. Oh my god,
That's
I'm so
fine. No, it's
conflicted
fine. Oh my
whether
God,
to
we'll
say
talk
it right
about
now.
it afterwards. It's
But
fine.
yeah, I'm like, he's so hard to make an appointment with already.
Oh,
I don't want
sure.
I don't want the masses trying
Sure,
to get
sure.
on that. I'm so sorry.
Hot girls don't gatekeep, Brennan.
I know, and I've also been so adamant about not gatekeeping.
So you're a hypocrite.
I guess so.
Wow.
I
least
also
you
feel
stand
like
up
I
for
should
it.
ask his permission first before I advertise.
Yes,
it.
that's tea. That's
Yeah.
always tea. Like, there's never any harm in asking anybody.
Yeah.
But I've like coached with my friend who's amazing, and I will blast him. Dave Klodowski is an unbelievable vocal
Oh my god,
coach
yeah.
and like has done some amazing things. But he and I have also like made tons of acapella and like engineered albums together. So he knows my voice not just as like a singer, but literally as like an instrument and like a sound.
Yeah.
Where he's able to kind of like unlock things that I've done before to help me move forward. And that's far more of how my brain works.
Valid.
So like he works for me in that way. But this isn't me being like, teachers suck. Like I don't feel that way. It's just I've never needed a certain kind of help where like.
After that point in time.
Yeah.
Heard. Yeah. Also, like, I don't know, we didn't have a musical theater program in our school. So like I didn't have the voice training until I started taking lessons during college.
Right. Because that was also, I've also been like classically and formally trained since I was 9 years old.
Exactly.
So like we got some good chords. We grew up with them good.
Also, folks, like, yeah, taking voice lessons is great, but also it's very expensive.
100%.
And if that's not something you're getting critiqued in auditions and whatnot, and those kinds of situations, you don't have to spend money on that every week.
You do not. And earnestly, I will say, like, I had a student ask me this a couple of weeks ago, if vocal training is necessary to get cast. And earnestly, I believe the answer is no.
No.
However, vocal training is really necessary for longevity once you're in a show.
Yeah.
And stamina and
Endurance,
being safe and, you know, working through sickness and, like, whatever it is. So that can be something that you prioritize later.
Yeah.
There's also some unbelievable coaches that are on YouTube for free.
100%.
Like,
yeah,
just singing helps you a lot.
Check it out. Also, like, I will say, like, one of the things I love most about my voice teacher is that he really knows, like, the science of it too. So granted, I don't
was my high school
understand
teacher.
all the terms and
he
stuff.
had like a PhD in vocal anatomy. It was like,
I think
work.
I don't know if he has a degree in that, but he's definitely like wicked well versed in it. So it's nice to like
wicked.
At least
Massachusetts.
Oh wow, represent.
Sorry, I just had to say it.
No, you're good. We say it all the time.
We do. I just wanted to add. Look, okay, sorry.
Yeah, we're from Massachusetts, everyone.
We are.
Shout out to Massachusetts.
Come on, Massachusetts.
I don't know. I might take that back later. We'll see.
Why?
I don't know. I guess.
Sorry,
I guess you're also from a little bit cooler Massachusetts than I am.
That's true.
Yeah. Anywho.
Anyway.
Yeah, voice teachers that know the science of it are very awesome because that's how you do it safely and yeah, all that jazz.
Yep.
Oh.
Training.
Yes. My God. Any classes you've taken, probably good to have, you know, if it's relevant and if it's happened recently or with notable people.
Right. Especially like the kind of like pay to plays for showcases. That's a great place to put something like that. If you did something like, I think it's through the Growing Studio that does like the Wicked classes. Like that's also a good one to have on there because like that means that anyone who knows those classes knows who saw you and can easily, again, reference. Like that is what those are for. Yeah.
Exactly right. And like I take actor therapy right now, and so I have like exactly I have like Ryan Scott Oliver, and then like all of the individual like guest teachers that he's had because I don't know, they've also been very instrumental in where I am now, but it's also just more references and context and stuff. So
yeah, I think that's kind of our like biggest like for reference.
Yeah,
that's kind of our section.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
I also have just I think I don't know if this will always stay on there, but for the sakes of right now, I also have like all of the things that I received like individual training on in college, you know. So I'll have like I have obviously acting on there, and then I'll have, if an acting professor is relevant enough, I have them there, and then I have like clowning and stuff.
Sure.
Just because those are like also specialties that I do. It's more than just
what you have on there.
A special skill, you know. Wild. It's like more than, I don't know, to me that's a little bit more than a special skill because I am trained in those regards. I try and keep that relevant on there.
Very agreed.
And yeah, I can't think of if there's anything else on there, you know.
For training, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazing.
I would also say if you play an instrument, like that would be like the time to not necessarily, if you have a one teacher, then that could be a person that you list.
Okay.
But also like possibly like 10 years guitar training would be a good place to like put that in there. I
think I have instruments under special skills on my
resume. Do as well, but if you are like trained in an instrument, I would put that under training.
Gotcha. Okay. What instruments do you play?
I don't have mine in training. I'm just saying like that's where I would put it.
Understood.
I mean I play the ukulele, but
I didn't
like
know that.
In the banana, but not very well for either one.
Heard. Maybe I should put that under training.
Only if you're like very skilled at it.
I am. I was in band for, I don't know, like 10 years of my life almost.
I think it's got to be something that you like feel very strongly that they're like, can you play this in a show? And you're like, yep.
Yes.
If that answer is no, then like that should be under special skills.
That is exactly right. I just turned down a gig for that very reason.
There you go.
Because I don't know. It's listed, but I'm also like, I don't have access to a drum set in the city.
Exactly.
You know, for me to get up to skill in 2 weeks and then also play an entire show is probably not in the cards.
Right.
And not best for everyone.
So like for you, yours would still be under special skills.
Correct.
But if the answer to what you just said for them was a yes, I would say like, say how many years you've been training.
Exactly.
In that instrument.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, folks. Anywho, moving on to special skills.
Yeah.
What are we putting in there and what are we not putting in there?
I will read you mine right now.
Do it.
Mine say strong a cappella,
Heard.
character voices, basic puppetry, driver's license, updated passport, and then on the bottom it says eating while singing and skipping. Because here's the thing, special skills are like a weird thing because I've always wondered why people put driver's license and updated passport.
Yes.
Until I literally was in this situation where they're like, you can't get this unless you have a passport.
That's exactly right.
I was like, oh, right, this matters to some people.
Yes.
Just in the same thing like I did Modern Love on Amazon Prime. And some of us had to drive the cars simply from one end of the parking lot to the other.
Yes.
And they needed to know that we could do that.
Exactly.
So, like, it sounds like a stupid thing, but they actually really need to know that. So put that in there if you
For
have
sure.
an updated passport.
Yeah.
Like, if you can leave on an international tour in the next, 4 weeks without that being an issue, that's your updated passport.
Yes. I have had friends book things and then have to go through
Absolutely.
the most stressful
keep
situations.
your passport updated,
Yes.
kids.
Yes,
that
yes.
matters so much.
Mm-hmm.
And, that would have... Yeah, no, mine doesn't expire until 2030, and I still think about it sometimes.
Heard.
So please pay attention to that. As far as acapella, it's just because it's not just me. Yes, I can sing and stay on pitch without music, but I can also do some beatboxing. I can do some funky noises.
Beatbox for me right now.
No, but but because I did it for 4 years, I have many. The Hexachords did albums. I did albums once I got to the city. That's something that. I do more than the average person.
That's exactly right.
Is kind of what you're gonna want to put on there.
Yes, for sure.
Then mine's always accents and dialects. I actually feel far less versed in.
Yes.
I have a few that are good.
That's the thing is I'm not just gonna write dialects. I'm gonna
Right.
list specifically what I can do because
Right.
I really.
So now I don't really do that because it makes me feel uncomfy. It makes me feel really put on the spot.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to my manager being like, "Do you have this accent?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Understood.
And then that's what we talk about there. But what I do know is that I have character voices.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
My voice is very squeaky. It does funky things.
Yeah.
And I can do any of those.
I'm right there with you, girl.
But when they ask for that, what they're usually asking for, and looking on my resume, they're like, "Can you do the Gingy freak flag right now?" And I was like, "You bet your ass I can." And then that's what happens.
Exactly right.
And then basic puppetry. I've worked with puppets at OSF. I've worked with puppets at UMass for a little while.
Yep.
Just making sure that people know that there was a big puppet section, puppet in air quotes, in Groundhog Day with the car chase sequence.
Oh yeah.
But we also
that's
had
so good.
training for that. So I know more than the average person. Again, that's what we're doing here.
Yes.
And then really the eating while skipping and singing, because there's a moment in special skills where it can be a conversation starter.
Yes.
And remind yourself that there's always a line when a joke becomes unprofessional.
For sure. Always.
Always.
Read
but
the room,
that
folks.
joke is what I'm best known for.
Yes.
And I have made a very public stink about hating the thing that I was eating.
Yes.
So we're always going to joke and laugh about it. And I haven't had an audition since where somebody hasn't seen it and laughed.
Totally.
And if somebody sees it and asks you something and it's a weird instant, take it off.
Yeah. If there's any place to express your personality,
It's there.
It's there.
My friend Jordan has pterodactyl noises on his, but he can do them because
Yes.
this is the thing. If you have it on the page, they're gonna ask you to do it.
Yes, for sure.
They just are.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel like you can do that on the spot, don't put it there
Exactly.
because that's when you're gonna get stuck between a rock and a hard place.
100%.
Because even with dialects and accents, yes, I can do some, but if they
Yes.
ask me then and then I would feel like a deer in the headlights, it doesn't belong on my resume.
Exactly.
It can be something that we, experience later.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken a couple of accents off just for that reason. Yeah, I mean, special skills, things you do better than average, tricks, any tricks that you can do. put them on there. Like, I don't know. I guess also like aerialists and stuff might be under training if it's like actual like gymnastics training and whatnot.
Right.
But if you got flips, put it there, whatever. I have my quirky thing on my resume is not emotionally attached to beard. So they know that I am willing to shave. And that is the one lie I have on there is I am a little bit emotionally attached, but I am willing to shave.
Well, sure, but you are willing to shave.
Yeah, so that's my quirky way of telling them that.
But see, that's cute.
Exactly.
Like, I do like that. And it's not you trying to make a joke that's not Brennan.
Exactly.
Like, that's exactly you. And only you would phrase it that way.
I think I don't know if it's still on there. I think it might
still be on there. I
no,
like it.
this other thing that I'm about to say.
Oh, sorry.
I did have lawn mowing on there as a special skill.
See, that one I'm like, that's just not going to be funny to everybody.
But you know what? I'm really good at it. I'm so good at it. I'm so passionate about it. And let me tell you, if anyone wants to hire me for a summer sock gig and also have me mow lawns on the side for a little extra dough, I'm willing to do that, folks.
But see, this is also something that, like, it's so funny that, like, directors will ask an out-of-pocket question.
Oh, yeah.
Because they just want to get to know you. And, like, that should always be your answer.
Always.
Because it's cute. It's funny. You have the bit down. Like, that's me saying when people ask how tall I am, I say not very. And it just comes out of my mouth.
Exactly.
Because it's a cute bit. And, like, I'm not saying that we all need to be, like, super, like, shticky about it. But, like, a bit is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're out there and you're like, I don't know if this is actually funny, ask your friends because they're going to know you best.
Or try, and if they don't laugh, it's not funny. It's a really easy way to figure that out.
Yeah, trial by fire, for sure.
Oh my God. Poor things. Please
or,
don't
know.
Or message me on Instagram, and I'll tell you if it's funny or not.
Literally.
I literally will.
Yeah.
Please do.
Oof. And be prepared for a no, folks.
Always
we're here to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
We want you to succeed, and also we want you to be funny because funny people are just the best.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, okay. If I weren't funny, I would also think that probably.
Oh, that's so
we're
funny.
Fighting. Oh my God.
It's hilarious.
Anywho, I take it back. I'm sorry. I love you.
No, we're fighting now.
Okay.
I'll kill you dead.
This is going to be really awkward for the whole rest of the podcast. So let's just sit here in silence. And scene.
Nice. That was so good. Really well done, everybody.
We're actors, everyone.
Love that.
Literal format. This is I don't know. This is always tricky to figure out. Even now, I am fighting with the page setup on Google Docs every single time. You know what? I'm actually going to look up right now what those are just for the sakes of getting those. But anywho, speak to them about
I mean, the easiest way to make sure that it always looks good no matter what is to, like, set it up on your computer or your iPad or whatever it is that you're working on. And then after that, save it as a PDF and, like, only ever send it to people as a PDF.
Yes.
Ever, ever, ever. And if it looks wrong as a PDF, like, change it until it looks good.
Exactly.
Also remind yourself, as far as, like, literal page setup, that a printed paper is, like, what, 8.5 by 11? And a headshot is 8 by 10.
Exactly. It needs to fit the 8 by 10.
Right. So you need... That's the gorgeous thing about Brennan.
Oh, my God.
Can
I forgot this is plugged into so many
everything?
things.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's staying in there.
You want to make sure that, like, you're not... that you're not cluttering your resume at all, because it's not great to do that. But B, that, like, you have... everything fits in a smaller than just the page layout, because you're going to have to, like, trim the edges to fit your headshot anyway.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, folks, I am reading this out. I believe what I'm about to read out allows for a 1/2-inch margin, but regardless, it's going to look nice, I promise. And so you're going to open your page setup, and in your margins, the top one's going to be 0.5, bottom is 1.5, left is 0.75, and right is 1.
I was going to say it has to be...
It is 1 on the dot. And this will allow for what I believe is 1/2-inch margins, but regardless, they will all be even one way or another. And so what I always do is I print these bad boys out, and then I literally will put a headshot on the back of it, and then I will trace the outline of where I need to cut, and then I cut it.
It's a happy little arts and crafts.
Yes, it's always a fun little crafts moment.
There's also, like, you know, paper cutters that, like, you know, if you're at like, if you're near a UPS, if you're near FedEx, like there's one in the Equity Building. Like, if you're trying to do a lot at once, that is the easier way to go. And like, there are plenty available.
Exactly. I think most studios nowadays are going to have all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
you
like
need
Open Jar, I bet. Yeah, it's got to be somewhere in there.
So yeah, folks, that's the science of it. So you don't have to figure it out. You're welcome.
There you go.
I'm still going to struggle with it, I know.
That's so helpful.
Yeah, whatever. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it's the things that I wish I knew.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
It's the things I still wish I knew. Yeah. You know? So yeah, that's that.
I think the only other thing that we didn't say about like literal format is that like the categories shouldn't really be anything more than like the one print size bigger and like bolded.
Yes, for sure.
I don't even think the mine are different in size. They're just bolded.
Yes.
And like the font doesn't have to be anything in particular.
No. It shouldn't
like
be anything
ours look
crazy
very different, but like, you know, it's still neat.
Yes.
I can read it.
For sure.
Yeah.
No Comic Sans, nothing like quirky or anything. Just something that they can read easily.
You know.
You just got to think about the fact that they have a minute and a half, or they have 3 minutes or whatever to read this and try and get to know you. So you want to make it as straightforward as possible.
Very easy.
So yeah, that's the format. Also, like font size and all that stuff, you're gonna learn once you put all of the words on there.
What makes it look good?
Yeah, exactly. And also, that's another way that you find out when you need to take things off.
That is true. I also have like little places in mind, like for Broadway it says like Into the Woods and then it says Groundhog Day, but underneath with Groundhog Day underneath August Wilson, it has an asterisk and it's in a smaller print or font, and it just says Original Broadway Cast.
Yep.
And then like with Anne Juliet it says like Toronto pre-Broadway, and with Bliss it says World Premiere.
Gotcha.
So like just to let them know
For sure.
what those things are, just because like with Into the Woods I was not the original Broadway cast, and like with Anne Juliet I did not go to Broadway with them, but I was in this, so like it's just helping.
You're still on all the pictures,
those types of things. No, I'm not. Now it's Megan.
Oh my
which
God.
is great. Like I want it to be Megan, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm still the B-roll.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I got that check recently. That was
Sorry,
nice.
Megan. Oh, that's lovely. That must be really nice. Ooh.
It's also the album, so like every time they do a performance,
that
I'll
rocks.
just get a cutie little check.
Oh my God.
I just got a 57-cent check from Jimmy Fallon.
Don't you love?
Thank you.
Don't you love
so
that?
much for the cents, Jimmy.
Residuals. What a time.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah. Direct. It's signed from Jimmy Fallon. Signed on the line.
You know, I didn't even check. I don't think it is.
That was just a joke.
There's no way.
No, there's no way.
That's not necessarily true. Some of them are their own producers. Like, some of them would have to sign those checks, Brennan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I'm so ignorant. I take it back.
God.
I'm just so stupid.
Okay. All right.
Anywho, should you ever lie on your resume?
No.
No.
Because, listen, it's going to bite you in the ass one way or the other.
Yeah.
It just is. I think that there's a difference between painting yourself in the best light and lying. Mm-hmm. There's definitely ways to, like, make something seem more important than it was.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, the closest you can get to lying is embellishing.
Yeah. If you can't pick up that skill within 24 hours, like, there's, it's not something.
Especially special skills. Like, just don't lie. Because, like, there's, theater's a wacky place right now where, like, they're asking a bunch of people to do some weird stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you can't do it, do not put it on there.
For sure. Lie on your regular resumes, folks.
Absolutely.
Lie on your muggle
Always.
resumes.
Always. Yeah,
Just
I wouldn't.
Not the place.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And also know that everything that you put on that piece of paper, they have absolutely the right, and now kind of is just normal for them to follow up on.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly
make
right.
sure that if you don't want that to happen, then don't put it on there.
And listen, if your resume is looking sparse, that is okay. That is okay.
Nobody cares.
Don't spice it up.
Honestly, what that looks like to a casting director is that you're cheap.
Yeah.
Which is really, really nice right now. Like, really they don't care. No. They really don't.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Have you ever lied on your resume?
No.
I don't know if I have. I might have.
I don't think, I started, like, my first resume, like, I think I was 8. Mm-hmm. So at that point, it was my mom making it. And Martha is, like, kind of a stickler. Like, she wouldn't lie.
Shout out to Martha.
Aw. We love that woman.
Yeah, we do.
What an icon. So it was her for a long time. And then by the time it got around to me, like, filling it out has really never been my issue.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just always been like, what's the best way to present myself here? But it was also always happening with teachers and, like, educators and people, in a community they already knew me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I couldn't really bluff because they knew me anyway.
That's valid.
And that's kind of my case now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't have descriptors on the top of my resume. I don't even have my agency's phone number, which, again, stresses me out. But, like, they like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't have one of my headshots. Because, as humbly as I can say this, people already know that about me now.
That is true.
I don't need to clutter the page. They know who they're talking to.
I've never had my headshot on the resume. I've never had the little file. I just have never enjoyed the way it looks. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's stapled.
It's
stapled to a easier to look at version.
100%. I didn't after I had a logo on it.
Gotcha.
But there was something where I was like, this just looks weird.
Understood.
Yeah.
I think when I used to not have a logo on it, everything was centered. So
yes,
true.
true.
To account for that, and then now it's all on the left-hand side.
Oh my God, yeah. Now I'm picturing like Katy Geraghty in the middle of the page. You're so right. That's where it was.
It was big right in the middle, and then everything, like all the lines underneath with the descriptors and all that, were still centered just to take up that space.
And honestly, like, it doesn't matter because, like,
no,
the name in the center of the resume with no logo anywhere and, like, probably really not excellent formatting and not knowing what the hell I was doing was still what got me cast for Broadway.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, they don't care.
Pop off.
Yeah.
That being said, folks, don't make sure it's like a little aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I'm like make it sound like it was a shitty piece of paper. It was not. It looked
like,
great.
I literally hand wrote it.
I wrote it in crayon. On a piece of construction paper.
Yeah.
And said, "Here you go, Groundhog Day.
And
Cast me."
Cute as F.
So cute as F.
As F.
Wow.
Yeah, folks, it's got to be easy to read. That's the thing.
Yeah. Really just like it is the best way I always describe it is your greatest hits.
Yeah.
Like after that, it doesn't really matter. Let them see a little bit of who you are. At the top, remind them of what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
Because always assume that your headshot's going to get separated from it. I don't know
100%.
why they care. Well, I actually know exactly why they care. Usually, it's going to be that like your headshots themselves go to team dance. And they will literally lay them out so that they can make sure that they knew where you were in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them do it.
Yeah.
And then usually the headshots go sit with the directorial team.
For sure.
And then they'll like figure out, if they know anybody, if they can call anybody, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. There
or
you
music
go,
or whatever it is. But like that's how I've always seen it happen that way. So, yeah. And all of this is going to get virtual in like the next 5 years.
I can't wait.
It's just... we'll see. Because all of this to say, at the end of the day, like, there's all of our resumes that you have to, like, punch in on, like, Actors Access.
Yes.
And there's no formatting on that.
Oh, my God. It stresses me out, I gotta say. It really does.
I don't understand that, well, that's why I'm not an agent, but, like...
Valid. Or
a casting director, but... So with those, just, like, make sure that you stay up to date on Actors Access, but there isn't any formatting on that. Sure. You're just filling in blanks.
Yeah.
And, just like with that, like size cards are important and updated things, especially if you are somebody who changes their hair color a lot, make sure that stays up to date.
Yes.
And length, if you cut it a lot and change it up a lot, that's important too. So like as silly as that sounds, they care and like people can get pretty miffed if they've booked you for a, mid like shoulder length hair thing and you walk in with like a pixie cut. Like that's not what they wanted.
No. And they'll tell you.
And just like... just make sure that you are making... I hate saying, like, making their lives as easy as possible.
Yeah.
But really just, like, putting yourself in the best light is the best way to reframe that.
Absolutely.
And if you don't... I love that my roommate called mine a sexy piece of paper. And if yours doesn't feel like one, like, play around with it. See if you can make it feel like one.
Get that sexy piece of paper. Get it feeling sexy, y'all.
It's the eye contact that's really killing me right now.
Oh, wow.
It made my skin crawl. Because he's
like
my brother. That's why.
He's
nice. A beautiful, wonderful man.
We're siblings.
It's not that. We're just siblings.
Yeah, I am very beautiful. That is true. Yeah, there's something about looking at that nicely formatted piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
You should have feelings about it. It should make you feel things.
Yeah, it should be like little like dopamine boost.
And if you don't know what that feels like, then look at our resumes, but also make sure you're feeling it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And look at your friends.
Also that,
Always look at your friends.
Always.
Like, that's a really easy way to, like, see if you, like, because you could find something that you didn't even know that you liked. I mean, my resume was definitely DJ's. Like, I just, like, copy and pasted his whole thing
100%.
for years. I can picture what that looks like right now in my head.
Yeah, literally have them send you the document and then just go in.
Yeah, as like the Word file or whatever it is, so that you can just like edit all of your own shit in there.
Don't copy and paste because the formatting never transfers over, right? Literally just take theirs and then erase their information line by line and put your own in.
Yep.
And then once again, if you need a reference, mine is on my website. Go check it out if you need that.
I have no idea if mine's on the internet, to be completely honest. I'm sure it is. I just don't know where.
Interesting. You don't have a website, right?
I don't.
That's okay.
I'm such a slacker.
I feel like you came into the professional world like before websites were really a thing. I feel like that's been the past 3 or 4 years where they've really started to become such a relevant way that people are trying to look at your stuff.
Yeah, I did actually. My manager asked me like a few weeks ago. She's like, you don't have a website, right? And I was like, no, do you want me to make one? She's like, no, I just like wanted to make sure that I wasn't not giving them something.
Heard.
I was like, okay, work.
Great.
Like, it's really easy.
There you go.
No, I have like a link tree, and that's kind of the closest that I get.
Heard.
But like,
honestly, I loved making my website. It was like, was like, ooh, I'm a web designer here.
I know that I would actually get some fun out of it.
Yeah.
It's just like,
it's also very
it
stressful.
Sounds like
and
much work.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah.
And if you don't need it, you don't need it.
Yeah.
That being said, folks, if you don't have one and you're just starting out, you're probably going to need one. But we'll talk about that in a future episode. No, we're getting everything in there for sure.
I love it.
Me
and
too.
honestly, like, this is such a cool thing.
Yeah.
That, obviously you and I got off on tangents because we're breathing.
Of course. It's funner that way.
It is. This kind of thing would be a wildly helpful thing to have.
Yeah. It's
just to talk about resumes. And honestly, this is all like everyone's going to have a different opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just what mine looks like right now in, 2024 with this agency at this time.
Yeah.
With these things on it. And then at some point I'll probably notice that that's not working for me anymore.
Exactly.
And change it. But it's not, they really don't live forever.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if you are, have a good relationship with the people in the casting room, like sometimes they will say like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
And you can ask them why. Like I was told, this was so mean in my opinion, but I did like this when I was in Oregon Shakespeare Festival, which is in Oregon, obviously, and you're there for 10 months. So they have a really wonderful program where they bring a lot of casting to you because you're not in the cities for the years and whatever, so that they can see your shows, you can take meetings with them, et cetera, et cetera. And almost every single one of them, and I know that they meant this in a nice way, but they were looking at my headshot just being like, you're a lot prettier than this. And I was like, thanks. Like, how do you take that? Mm-hmm. And yes, it was old. Yes, it was time.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it being like, I think I look adorable in that photo. They're like, no, you're prettier than this. I'm like, okay. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
It was just a weird thing to do.
For sure.
So then I got a new headshot that was prettier, and that was so in my head.
Yeah.
Which I didn't love, because now, like, headshots are weird to begin with. Just like, I mean, there's probably, are you doing a whole other podcast on headshots?
There's going to be a separate episode for headshots.
There you go.
I'm trying to get my headshot photographer to come on.
It should be a headshot photographer.
Another headshot 100%. Photographer.
I've got a few that I could send your way if you want that. But, like, my biggest thing always as somebody who, like, does not find themselves to be wildly photogenic is that, like, you just want to look like you're going to look as you're walking into the room on your best day. Yeah. And that's it.
For sure. It just got to represent yourself and who you are in that point in time.
I would never use my headshot for anything except a headshot because it looks like a headshot.
That's exactly right. Oh my God, folks, do not put your headshots on your dating profiles.
Ew.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Ever. No, that's like a lifestyle shoot.
Literally.
I'm like, I think all of like the photos that I post in, like, I'm not on the apps because I hate them, but like in that type of situation are all professionally done. But none of them are a headshot.
No.
Ever.
That's the ick, folk.
Except that cute black and white one of me looking over the shoulder. But we weren't doing headshots anymore at that point.
Yeah.
Like that was... Yeah.
And like a profile picture is maybe fine if it's like a professional account, but even then,
Facebook's not professional accounts at this point. I think they are.
Really? I feel like Facebook's like kind of outdated.
Oh, well, I'm never on it.
Yeah.
I logged on my birthday to only simply like every single comment and read them so that people know that I saw them. And then like I think the last time I posted was me being like, cool, Woods was fun. Here's Sister Act of the Muni. And like that
Literally.
was the last time.
It's like, here, I am.
But that is kind of a professional thing. Like,
That's
I'm just
valid.
like letting the people only on Facebook know that I'm doing a different show.
I'm also, I guess I'm like very specific nowadays about who I accept into my Facebook circle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of people that I know that I'm just not friends with on Facebook because I know them as acquaintances or people I have met
Because not
doing these
everybody
jobs.
is a friend, kids.
That's-
you don't have to call them a friend.
Yeah,
That is actually reserved for the people who are friends.
that's exactly right. Yeah,
Just
I mean,
saying.
it's just, my Facebook is just a place to dump my photos. So I don't have to store them elsewhere and waste storage.
The cloud.
The cloud.
It's
What
never
does that
coming
mean?
back down. I don't know. You should know that more than me. You're younger than I am.
Yeah, you'd think
I
that.
have no idea.
No,
No.
it's a miracle that we're
As far as
even
I
able
know,
to
like it
record
just
this
goes
right
up
now.
into the ether and then it never comes back down.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
God's holding on to them.
God is holding on to them. She has her arms full
A
of my
little
photos.
fishing line. She just hoists them
In a little
up.
koi pond.
Oh my God.
That's what's in my head right now.
No, I love that. I love that image.
Cutie.
Yeah, it's that. It's Facebook Marketplace, and it's
Oh my God,
whose
right.
birthday
Facebook
is it?
Marketplace. Yeah.
That's it.
I know. That to be said, if anybody has sent me a friend request and I should have accepted it, I just have not seen it. I'm very
Yeah,
sorry.
Sorry everyone trying to friend me on Facebook.
Go to Instagram or TikTok and I will always answer you there.
Yeah,
'Cause
Instagram.
I'm on those
Instagram
two.
is the thing right
TikTok
now.
I'm okay about, but I don't know exactly how to work all parts of that app. Not
Yes,
gonna lie
that
to
is
you.
true.
So.
I'm also like people that don't. I don't think people that don't follow you on there can message you on TikTok either. So
Oh, Didn't
Yeah.
even know. That's news to me.
I always find that out in the unfortunate way where I go to send something to a friend and I'm
Oh.
like, you're
Wow.
not following me on
We're
TikTok.
not even mutuals.
No, and then I scold them.
Wow.
Yeah, but Instagram, that's the best way to do it, folks. But once again, we'll talk about this in a future episode. Blah, 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 blah. I feel like we hit everything on those good resumes. What are you feeling? Feel like we missed anything?
No, I feel like that's it. Yeah, I feel like that's it.
Yeah, and if you have any more questions, hit us up in the comments of the Instagram posts and stuff. Yeah. Wow. This has been just so lovely. I'm really happy that we got to support you in this way. And you can support us by following us on Patreon. Once again, folks, we will not be gatekeeping any information on the Patreon. That is just for fun.
Except Brennan's voice teacher.
Except my voice teacher. No, I won't post anything until I get his confirmation. Yeah, it's just for fun bonus content. If you'd like to hear some more fun little stories and stuff, if you want previews to certain things, and also if you just want to support us and keep this podcast going as smoothly as possible, that's going to be the way to do it. So yeah, hop on there. We really appreciate every little thing. Also follow us on social media, all social media platforms at BA to Broadway, and then you're obviously listening to this already wherever you listen to podcasts, but let everyone else know that it's in all of those places from BA to Broadway. Katie, where can folks find you if you would like to be found?
Instagram is usually the fastest time for me to respond because clearly I just said that I don't know how TikTok works. I'm on it.
Yes.
Both of them are just my name. I believe there's a period in between Katy Geraghty for
Okay.
Instagram and there is not for TikTok.
Gotcha.
But that is where I am on the socials. But please always reach out. I'm always happy to chat.
Absolutely.
I also teach and do like coachings and one-on-one sessions and Q&As, and that's all on Broadway Plus, but that's on my Linktree, which is on both of those socials, and I'm very easily like Googleable in that way.
Perfect.
So if you're looking for that, I can do that too.
There you go, folks. Hit her up. Get some lessons from this wise person. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Katie. It was an absolute pleasure, as always.
Thanks, my friend.
We look forward to having you back. And everyone else, we will see you next week. Bye. From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.